Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of The Last of Us. It was called The Price. And as the episode starts, we get a flashback to 1983 when young Joel and Tommy are young boys living in fear of their abusive father on the day of a particular incident after Tommy was ripped off while trying to buy marijuana. And Joel instigated a fight, and the two ran into trouble. The father does not beat them, however, and instead giving Joel a beer, revealing that he was abused more violently by his own father as a child. Displaying guilt over his own violence, Joel's father says that he hopes Joel will do better with his own children, the way he thinks he's doing better than his father did. We then get a more recent flashback in which we see that shortly after arriving in her Wyoming community with Joel, Ellie burned her arm to cover up her infected bite. For her birthday, Joel gives her a cake and a custom-made guitar. Ellie asks him to perform a song, and he sings part of a song called Future Days for her. Joel then brings Ellie to an abandoned museum where she climbs a dinosaur statue. Later, sitting in the Apollo 11 capsule module, she listens to a cassette tape of a recording of the Apollo 11 liftoff and imagines herself traveling to space. A year later, on her 17th birthday, Joel stumbles into Ellie's room after she had smoked some marijuana and had been getting intimate with a girl who has tattooed a moth on Ellie's arm. Ellie then shares her intention to move into the garage, and she and Joel argue, but Joel concedes as the distance between them grows. On her 19th birthday, with Ellie's suspicions surrounding Joel's story about the events in Salt Lake City growing, Joel takes her out on a patrol. They encounter their community member Eugene, who's been bitten by an infected, and begs Joel to let him go back to town and see his wife from a distance before he turns so that he can say some final words to her. Ellie convinces Joel to agree, and he promises her that he will. As she collects their horses, though, Joel leads Eugene away before executing him, which Ellie stumbles upon. Back in Jackson, Joel lies to his wife, the therapist, telling her Eugene killed himself. But Ellie, realizing that he had lied to her about the fireflies in Salt Lake City years earlier, angrily exposes his lie right in front of Eugene's wife. Then we flash back, or forward at this point, or back, but anyway, to the night of the New Year's Eve party when Dina and Ellie kissed. And we see that Ellie actually joined Joel on the porch, even though it originally had looked like she just walked past him. They have a conversation in which she demands the truth of what happened in Salt Lake City. Joel tearfully admits that he killed the fireflies to save Ellie's life, which prevented them from finding a cure. Ellie, who is enraged at this point, says he's selfish and that he took away her life's purpose. But Joel says he has no regrets because he loves her and tells her that he hopes she will do better with her children, echoing what his father said to him so many years ago. She says that she doesn't know if she can forgive him, but she's willing to try. Now back in the present, 2029, after torturing and killing Noel, Elle returns to the theater. And that's where the episode ended. So I really, really enjoyed this episode. It had a couple of great scenes that were straight out of the game and which were recreated beautifully. I couldn't have asked for them to recreate them any better than they did. The scene in the cockpit of the Apollo 11 capsule was just masterfully done in the game and very moving and just incredible. And it was equally as moving and equally as incredible in the show. And I just loved every second of it. I hadn't remembered the scene in the game where Ellie confronts Joel about what happened in Salt Lake City. I only remembered that she did and that she found out the truth. So watching the scene unfold on the show was fresh for me. And I have to tell you that the two of them in that scene gave what I would call a masterclass in acting. It was just incredible to watch them go through the emotions of that scene. It felt real. It was devastating. It was just incredible. And I really, really enjoyed watching it. That said, I never really got why Ellie was pissed off about Joel saving her life when I played the game. I didn't get it. I mean, I know that her argument is, that would have been my purpose. I could have had a great legacy of having done something great with my life, and you took it from me, but you were lied to. you were told that they were just going to do a procedure and make a cure. You weren't told that you were going to die. So you didn't choose that outcome. You didn't consent to that outcome. So how could Joel possibly have let her die knowing that she didn't know she was going to die? Like in the game, they might have told her it was a possibility, but they didn't tell her it was a certainty. So she never consented to that. And for Joel not to have rescued her when he did know that and that she didn't know it would have been wrong. And why she didn't understand that, I don't know. And why he doesn't explain that to her in the game or the show, I don't know. And I never really got that, and it just annoyed me. I mean, I guess they needed something to make the story tragic, where she was angry with him when he died. But I don't know. That just didn't make sense to me that that was it. I never got that. Nonetheless, it was a fantastic scene, and they both are incredible actors, and I really, really liked it. And I liked that, Joel says to her, I hope you do better with your kids, because he's realizing in that moment that he let her down, whether it's rational or not for her to feel let down. And he's disappointed in himself. And I think it, like I said, it just harkens back to when his father was obviously disappointed in himself as well. And it was the sins of the father, being visited on the son. And that's just a tragic thing that happens sometimes. And I just thought it was, poignant that they did that in the game and the show. So I liked that. I didn't realize that this episode was the penultimate episode, that there's only one more episode left. It's a 7 episode season, which is very short. And upon realizing that, I'm disappointed because we haven't seen any of Abby in the show, really. She was in the first episode in the beginning, and then the one episode where she kills Joel, and that's it. And, I wasn't in love with the character in the game. I didn't really like playing her. So it must sound weird that I'm saying, oh, why wasn't Abby in the show? But like it or not, she is a main character of the story of the second game, which this season is about. And so why isn't she in the episodes? I mean, I guess that's how it was in the game, but I don't know. It seems to me when you're doing a show, you would play around with the time frame and maybe move some of her parts up and show them simultaneously with other parts. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me that the season's going to be over and she hasn't been in it. I guess it would make more sense if it were a 15 episode season and they waited until the end of the season to include her. But because they're ending it at 7 episodes, she's just not in this season for all intents and purposes. And that's very strange. Because, I thought they were going to get to the end of the second game in the second season, since they got to the end of the first game in the first season. But I guess they're not doing that. I guess they're going to get to the end of the second game in season 3 and presumably end it there. So, yeah, that's a little surprising to me. But anyway, there's one more episode left, and I'll definitely be back to do a breakdown and review of the season finale. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. So, as always, I wish you peace and long life.